What's up, Yankees fans? Buckle up because things are starting to heat up in the Bronx, and we might be looking at one of the most intriguing trade scenarios of the offseason. The New York Yankees front office has a lot on its plate right now, and it's clear that after another postseason collapse, they're not going to sit still. The message from fans, players, and everyone around the organization is the same. It's time to bring a championship back to the Bronx, and it's time to do it now. But to make that happen, something has to change with this lineup. Everyone who's been following this team knows the story all too well. When October arrives, the bats go silent. Year after year, it's been the same frustration. The Yankees can hit home runs in the regular season, sure. They can pile on runs when the games don't mean as much. But when the lights are the brightest, when runners are on base, they suddenly can't come up with that big, clutch hit. And that has been their Achilles heel ever since Aaron Boone took over as manager. That's where Kwan comes into the conversation. Now, if you've been watching baseball closely over the last few seasons, you know exactly what this guy brings to the table. Kwan is not your typical power hitter. He's not going to blast 40 home runs or hit the ball out of Yankee Stadium every other night. That's not who he is. What he does, though, is exactly what the Yankees have been missing. He puts the ball in play, he gets on base, and he creates chaos with his speed. He's a smart leadoff hitter who knows how to work counts, find gaps, and set the tone for the rest of the lineup. Just look at what he's done in Cleveland. Over the past few years, he's been the engine that keeps the Guardians' offense moving. In 2025, for example, he hit 11 home runs, drove in 56 runs, and swiped 21 bases, finishing the season with a batting average of 272. That's solid production for a guy whose main job is to set the table for the sluggers behind him. He's not the kind of player who's going to light up the scoreboard with power, but he's the kind of player who helps everyone else do it. Think about it this way. Imagine Kwan leading off for the Yankees in 2026. You got him grinding out at-bats, seeing pitches, drawing walks, and slapping singles into the outfield. Then comes Aaron Judge, who doesn't have to swing for the fences every time because there's already a runner on base. Giancarlo Stanton follows, and suddenly the opposing pitcher is in trouble. The whole dynamic of the offense changes when you've got a guy who can get on base consistently. And honestly, that's something the Yankees have lacked since the days of Derek Jeter. They've had stars, they've had power, but they haven't had that pure contact hitter who can set the tempo from the very first pitch of the game. When you think about the history of the Yankees, their best lineups always had that one guy at the top who made things happen. Someone who could put pressure on the defense and keep innings alive. Kwan fits that mold perfectly. Now, the big question is, could the Yankees actually pull this off? That's where things get interesting. The Guardians, as talented as they are also dealing with some tough financial decisions. Kwan is heading into another year of arbitration, which means he's going to start getting more expensive. Cleveland's front office has never been known for handing out big contracts. And when you look at their farm system, it's loaded with young, cheap outfielders ready to make the jump. 10 of their top 30 prospects are outfielders, including 4 in the top 10. That's a crowded position group, and it could open the door for a deal. If the Guardians decide it's time to move on from Kwan before he becomes too expensive, the Yankees could absolutely take advantage. They've got prospects, they've got pitching depth, and they've got players who might benefit from a change of scenery. There's already been plenty of speculation that someone like Jasson Dominguez could be part of a big trade package, especially after the way his playing time vanished late last season. The organization seems hesitant to commit to him in the outfield, and with Spencer Jones knocking on the door for 2026, the outfield picture in New York is getting crowded. So, picture this. The Yankees make a move for Kwan. In return, Cleveland gets some young, controllable talent like Dominguez and maybe a couple of pitching prospects such as Will Warren or Brendan Beck. It's a deal that can make sense for both sides. The Guardians would get younger, cheaper players to fit their timeline, while the Yankees would get a proven big league hitter who brings exactly what they're missing. Now, some fans might say trading a guy like Jasson Dominguez is crazy. After all, he's been one of the most hyped prospects in years, and when he first came up, the excitement was through the roof. But baseball isn't about hype, it's about fit, and right now, Dominguez doesn't seem to have a clear role on this team. If the Yankees don't trust him enough to start in the postseason, maybe it's time to move him for someone who can contribute right now. What makes Kwan so appealing isn't just his numbers. it's a style of play. He brings energy, discipline, and reliability to a lineup that often feels feast or famine. He makes contact when others strike out. He forces defenses to make plays. He's the kind of hitter who can turn a soft single into a double just by running hard out of the box. In a sport where analytics have driven everything toward home runs and strikeouts, Stephen Kwan feels like a throwback, a player who values putting the ball in play, moving runners over, and doing the little things that win games. And Yankee Stadium could be the perfect stage for him. The short porch in right field gives him just enough of a power boost to keep pitchers honest, but the real benefit is his ability to keep innings alive. You can almost imagine it. Kwan slaps a single to left, steals second, and suddenly Judge steps into the box with a man in scoring position and no outs. That's the type of baseball Yankees fans have been craving, the kind of small ball spark that turns a good team into a dangerous one. When you look at Kwan's career so far, the consistency jumps out. We're talking batting averages of 298, 268, 292, and 272 across his seasons. That's not luck. That's a skill set built on discipline and approach. His on-base percentage has always been among the best in his lineup, and his ability to steal bases has improved every single year. After missing some time with injuries in 2024, he bounced back in 2025 with 21 stolen bases. He's proven he can adapt, stay productive, and perform under pressure. For the Yankees, who have been living off the long ball for too long, a player like this could completely shift the team's identity. Imagine pairing that consistent contact at the top with the raw power behind him. Suddenly, this lineup goes from predictable to versatile. It's not just home runs and strikeouts anymore. It's pressure, it's speed, it's movement. And that's exactly what wins in October. The Yankees have already invested heavily in pitching, locking in guys like Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, and the newly added Max Fried. The rotation looks solid, and now the focus has to shift to offense. The front office knows it. The players know it. And the fans definitely know it. You can't rely on the same approach year after year and expect different results. Bringing in someone like Stephen Kwan isn't just about filling a lineup spot. It's about changing the DNA of this offense. Now, let's get into the fun part, the mock trade that could actually bring Stephen Kwan to the Bronx. When I started looking into how a deal between the Yankees and the Guardians might work, it became clear that both teams could walk away happy if they play their cards right. The Yankees need contact hitters and table setters, while the Guardians, as usual, are focused on keeping costs down and replenishing their system with young, controllable talent. It's one of those rare situations where both sides' needs seem to line up almost perfectly. So, picture this scenario. The Yankees pick up Stephen Kwan, giving them a true leadoff hitter who brings a completely different dynamic to the lineup. And not just that, they also acquire a left-handed pitcher like Colby Allard, a guy who's got both starting and bullpen experience. He's not going to be a superstar, but he fits a specific need. Every great bullpen needs a couple of lefties who can come in and handle tough matchups, especially when you're talking about playoff baseball. Adding a flexible arm like Allard could quietly be one of those under-the-radar moves that pay off in the long run. Now, what would Cleveland get in return? That's where it gets spicy. To make this deal happen, the Yankees would have to part with some names that fans might not want to see go. The main piece going to the Guardians could be Jason Dominguez. I know, that sounds crazy. The kid was supposed to be the next big thing, the kind of prospect you build around. But if we're being honest, it just doesn't feel like the Yankees believe in him the same way anymore. Last postseason said it all. No at-bats, no playing time, nothing. When you've got Cody Bellinger and Trent Grisham taking your spots, that tells you something. Dominguez still has potential, and a team like Cleveland could give him the freedom to play, make mistakes, and develop without the massive pressure that comes with wearing pinstripes. Sometimes a change of scenery is exactly what a young player needs. In Cleveland, he could become their future star outfielder, while the Yankees, in return, finally get a proven major league hitter who fits their current window to win. Alongside Dominguez, the deal could also include right-handed pitcher Will Warren. Warren's a solid arm, but the Yankees' rotation is already packed. When you've got Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, Chase Hampton, and Luis Gil likely holding down the rotation spots next year, there just isn't much room left. Warren might be better off getting a real shot elsewhere instead of being stuck in long relief or waiting for an injury to open a door. To balance it out, Cleveland could also get Brendan Beck, who currently ranks around 11th among the Yankees prospects. He's another pitcher with upside and a strong college background. Including him would make the Guardians feel like they're getting real value for two major league-ready players in Kwan and Allard. If you put all of that together, it's a trade that actually makes a ton of sense. The Yankees sacrifice some future potential for a player who's proven he can contribute right now, while Cleveland gets a group of controllable young players who fit their timeline and philosophy. It's one of those moves that both front offices could look at and say, yeah, that's fair. And when you think about how the Yankees lineup could look with Steven Kwan in the mix, man, it gets exciting. You'd probably have Kwan leading off, followed by Aaron Judge hitting second. The perfect 1-2 punch. Judge would finally have someone consistently on base ahead of him, which changes everything about how pitchers approach him. Behind Judge, you'd have Ben Rice at first base, Giancarlo Stanton at designated hitter, and maybe Jazz Chisholm Jr. if the Yankees manage to re-sign him. That's a mix of power, speed, and athleticism that this team hasn't had in years. After that, Oswaldo Cabrera could slot in at third base. He's coming back from injury, he's a switch hitter, and he brings that spark and energy the clubhouse needs. In left field, you'd have Spencer Jones, the next big left-handed bat coming up from the minors. Behind the plate, Austin Wells gives you a solid catcher who can handle the pitching staff and provide some pop at the bat. And rounding things out, you'd probably have Jose Caballero or Anthony Volpe hitting ninth, adding even more speed to the bottom of the order. When you look at that lineup, you can see how it all fits together. It's balanced. It's fast. It's flexible. You've got power, but you've also got players who can make contact, steal bases, and extend innings. That's the kind of offense that wins championships, not just highlight reels during the regular season. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the baseball world, Kyle Tucker has reportedly declined a contract extension with the Houston Astros and is setting his sights on a new chapter with the New York Yankees. Sources close to the player suggest that the outfielder, known for his prodigious power and slick defensive skills, has made it clear that he envisions his next big career move in pinstripes. While nothing is officially confirmed, the whispers around the league are growing louder, and fans on both coasts are already bracing for what could be one of the most talked-about off-season shifts in recent memory. Tucker's tenure with Houston has been marked by consistent performance, clutch hitting, and a flair for the dramatic in postseason play. Yet, insiders hint that contract negotiations hit a stumbling block, leaving both sides unable to find common ground. The Yankees, long rumored to be seeking a dynamic presence in their outfield, are reportedly exploring every avenue to bring Tucker aboard. The allure of New York, combined with a lineup already brimming with talent, could be too tempting for a player of Tucker's caliber. The speculation has ignited social media debates and set the rumor mill spinning, with pundits weighing the potential impact on both franchises. For Houston, losing a cornerstone talent would be a blow to an already formidable roster, forcing them to rethink offensive strategies and depth charts. For the Yankees, the addition of Tucker could signal a bold, aggressive approach to maintaining their championship aspirations, adding not just power at the plate, but a charismatic presence in the dugout. As winter approaches, all eyes will be on contract talks and team maneuvers. But one thing seems clear: Kyle Tucker's decision, if confirmed, could redefine the balance of power in the American League. Fans will be watching closely, speculating, and inevitably imagining the potential fireworks when the Astros meet the Yankees next season. The rumor, tantalizing as it is, may not yet be reality, but the mere possibility is enough to keep the baseball world buzzing. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.